Okay, is it just me or does it feel like Studio Bones is a tale of two studios, despite the fact that Studio Bones is the same studio that does My Hero Academia's anime and has been doing Mob Psycho 100's anime for the last 3 seasons, and with one of them coming to a close completely, Mob Psycho 100, it really feels like to a certain degree when you look at this studio, like not only do they have different departments, but it's clear indications on which ones they prioritize in terms of getting everything ready, and also which one has the most time to get ready, because I feel like with this season of anime and just in general, looking at the scale and the feel, looking at the landscape of anime as a whole, it definitely feels like we're starting to see the negative of what happens when a studio is constantly doing an anime for seasons upon seasons. When seasonal became a thing, a lot of people were still like, okay, what's going on? Because let's keep it real, anime, if it wasn't one of those long anime like back in the days, you know, again, the Narutos, the One Pieces, the Bleach with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of episodes, then most of the time you would get just a 12 episode season or a 24 episode season, and that's it. Like, it was a big thing not that long ago that a lot of anime were notorious for not coming up with sequels, especially back in the days with Madhouse Studios. That was almost an unwritten rule, so to speak, with Madhouse Studios, that yeah, we're not doing season 2s of anything. That's why One Punch Man got removed. That's why a lot of their titles don't really go on after a certain point, because they had this unwritten rule of, yo, we don't really do seasonal stuff. For them to even do Hunter x Hunter was honestly something unheard of. Like, they did Monster and Hunter x Hunter, 2 vastly different things, but they did complete adaptations. However, again, their model for the most part is, if we gotta do a season 2, we're not doing it. However, in 2023, we got series again like My Hero Academia that are 6 seasons deep or midway into the 6th season. Mob Psycho 100 ran for all 3 seasons with a complete adaptation. We're at a different time period. However, here's the problematic aspect, right? Because with Mob Psycho 100, I believe it started off around the same time of My Hero Academia, if I'm not mistaken. However, realistically, we only got about 1 season and a half worth of episodes of Mob Psycho 100 in comparison to My Hero. My Hero Academia is standing at 6 seasons, with season 1 being the only one that was 12 episodes. Every season of My Hero Academia has been 24 episodes, while Mob Psycho 100 has been roughly, I think, anywhere from 10 to 12 episodes a season for 3 seasons. So right there, you got to look at it. Okay, so they had way more time to put love and care into Mob Psycho, because Mob Psycho, for starters, they wasn't aiming it to be like what My Hero Academia aimed to be, in terms of like, yo, every year we need a season of Mob Psycho 100. And this is what's bringing me to the idea that I feel like, personally, despite the fact that we love seasonal anime, there's also still a drawback, and I think we're seeing it with My Hero. Now, granted, I want to be very clear, because I even posted this on Twitter recently, that My Hero Academia season 6 has not been bad, honestly. In comparison, especially to seasons 4 and 5, My Hero Academia, almost to a certain degree, you could argue, feels like it's headed in the right direction of, okay, it's getting back on track. Art and animation is getting back on track. It's not perfect. It's not like the quality of Bleach's Thousand Year Blood War or even Chainsaw Man or anything like that, but it's definitely solid. It was like decent. The problem with the latest season of My Hero, why I feel like fans are still not giving it the praise it deserves, is because the content in and of itself from the manga is extremely rich. So when you get to the anime adaptation, this is the season where I'm sure, including myself, honestly, a lot of fans feel like, dog, this is the one. If there was any season where we were going to get Sakuga animation to a high degree and everything, this probably would have been the season, especially this first half, because this was an entire war. This was the war against the League of Villains and the Liberation Army combined. Like, this was supposed to be the part of the anime that you put in that type of work. The fact that they didn't really go into one of those massively beautiful scenes means that either A, they're just skipping out on really giving you an awesome Sakuga memorable moment, or they're going to save it for the second half, because the second half is really not comprised of many characters. The second half of My Hero Academia season 6 is going to be mainly Deku, so they're probably going to save a lot of that high tier quality art and animation for that side of things. Also, with Mob Psycho 100 season 3 wrapping itself up, the Mob Psycho team that Studio Bones put together to create Mob Psycho are free now. Unless they immediately assign them to other projects, there's a potential possibility that some of the talent that was on Mob Psycho 100, the high echelons of the ones that are making all of those beautiful episodes where Mob is going in and it looks crazy or whatnot, maybe we could get a few of them over there for My Hero Academia for the rest of season 6 and the remainder of the series. But it's still nevertheless never gonna be what ideally Mob Psycho 100 is compared to My Hero Academia, because let's be clear, Mob Psycho 100 with its 3 seasons is easily one of the cleanest, straightforward, really dope anime adaptations out there. It adapts the entirety of the manga. All 3 seasons is a manga. It gives you high quality art and animation. 12 episode drops. But again, the problem is that I'm sure a lot of fans were like, okay, but Mob Psycho started coming out, 2016? That was 7 years ago, so it took 7 years to get 3 seasons. But in reality, I think that that's the sweet spot in order to get the quality that fans really love and appreciate, and at the same time, them not burning out the anime staff. I think that we tried with the yearly seasonal stuff with My Hero Academia, and we've seen that at the end of the day, it kind of puts it almost on like a conveyor belt of like, it's not really giving the attention that it deserves, because again, they're not having enough time to prepare with each season. If you think about it, break it down to 7 years, Mob Psycho 100's 3 seasons was broken down very nicely. But with My Hero Academia, considering the fact that they want not only every year episodes, they want 24 episodes, that's where it becomes a problematic aspect, and that's where you start seeing signs of Studio Bones, a tale of 2 studios, because Mob Psycho 100 looks like it's on 11 out of 10 through and through. It was such an amazing ride, honestly, just the finale and the climax and Mob losing it and Reagan finally coming into his character and wrapping up his character arc. Honestly, it was like damn near perfect, and people look at that and they're like, well, oh wow, Studio Bones, you know what I'm saying? They must really love Mob Psycho. My Hero, they don't care about My Hero. They care about Mob Psycho. But the reality of it is for starters, the people even high up that, pay them to create these anime, Shueisha and all of these companies or whatnot, they are going to target things in a different manner. They're going to tell them, well, we want Mob Psycho in 2 years, so you could get started now, slowly but surely. My Hero, though, that's a big breadwinner. The manga sales continue to climb. We need My Hero Academia not only every year, we need 24 episodes, and we need you to give it the best. And minus 2022, we also need movies at that. So we're going to take a little piece, the best animators that I got right here working on the anime. Come over here. We need these movies. Even last year, to be honest with you, and it's probably only because of them compromising that we were able to get an increase with season 6 opposed to season 4 and 5, is the fact that with season 6, they didn't have a movie accompanied in the year that it came out. Every year for the past couple of years, My Hero Academia is having a movie that is launching, and they have to take some of the staff and create a whole new team just for the movie. They did last year, I believe, OVAs, which it's still technically, taking away from the team, but nevertheless, since they didn't have to do a full-length theatrical film, they were able to put the time. Honestly, animation, a lot of people's problems saying, fluidity, the art, what's going on here, is time. Honestly, prep time, being able to do pre-production for a very long time allows for them to put everything in place so that everything can move smoothly. And honestly, the truth of the matter is that the sweet spot for a seasonal anime to get a season is about 12 episodes, 13 episodes every 2 years. That's the way to get something at the quality of Mob Psycho 100 with a faithful adaptation, with no hiccups, so to speak, and complete. I think that that's going to be the wave moving forward. For example, with stuff like Chainsaw Man, I wouldn't be surprised if Chainsaw Man, we might not even see it till 2025, because quality, especially in art and animation, takes time. These aren't things that happen overnight, and My Hero Academia, Mob Psycho 100 are a pure demonstration of one took 7 years for 3 seasons with 12 episode seasons apiece. Another is 7 years deep with 6 24 episode seasons. Who had more time to prepare? Who had more time to make the quality? Who had more resources, so to speak, that were able to be implemented into smaller bits opposed to 24 episodes, dog? And trust, by no means am I trying to advocate in any fashion of, yo, dog, we need shorter anime or we need less seasons. I'm just saying that realistically in 2023, we are seeing the results, so to speak, of the quote-unquote experiment of anime going seasonal. And as it stands right now, some seasonal anime are having problems. We've seen the vast variety of different ways that they release. Again, we either got the seasonal yearly My Hero Academia releases that have those problems. You got the ongoing problems that left Black Clover without a TV anime up until this point and hoping on a movie to win the whole thing. And yeah, it looks like we need time for animation and art and for animators, and because of the way the industry is growing and thriving so much, it's going to lend less and less for those instances. Even something as grandiose as Arcane took 6 years. That was 6 years to create something like that. Now imagine something maybe a little bit of, of course, more smaller scale, but they want that every year and they want 24 of those. That's the problem right there. That's the problem. And then of course you got to add into the fact of attention spans and fans being absolutely impatient nowadays, because if My Hero Academia right now decided we're going to wrap up this season 6 next year, and from here on out we're only doing 12 episode drops and we're going to give as much prep time as we possibly can. Pre-production is going to be really lengthy so that way the animators can really put in all the touches. That wouldn't really work, I'm gonna be honest with you, because My Hero Academia fans are going to be upset. Even if the quality is going to increase, My Hero Academia fans have been conditioned to 6 seasons, 24 episode drops. You all of a sudden go, next year here's 12, and the year after that, or 2 years from now, 12, probably won't work, and it'll probably do more damage than help to the My Hero Academia franchise as a whole, which, yeah, people have been a little bit bashing the manga and the anime just a wee bit, although I gotta again give props at the anime. It's solid. It's not absolutely amazing, but it has been very solid and a pretty enjoyable watch. But let me know what you think about this whole conundrum. Again, studios where they have something like Studio Bones of My Hero Academia and Mob Psycho 100. Do you feel like having pre-production time that is a lot more extensive, prep time, time to, prepare things, so to speak, is that the secret ingredient to making bangers like what Mob Psycho 100 Season 3 was, to be able to give you the proper adaptation, to not have to pull punches on the art and animation? Do you think that's the case of more time, or are you fine with that? Are you fine with it may not be 11 out of 10, but I want my 24 episodes of My Hero every freaking year, and if they throw a movie, I'm gonna watch that too? Like, what is your stance on it? It's just crazy that a studio like Studio Bones could be the same studio for 2 different animes and get 2 different adaptations. And again, I'm not bashing on My Hero, but Mob Psycho felt like it was perfect. 3 seasons and boom, amazingness. Shout outs to 1. So laugh for this one. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. Subscribe and hit that bell to get more. Yeah.